Alright guys, back at home after the track. Had a really good time at the track. Car did well. New Penske's were pretty awesome. It was good to finally see some results there. Fortunately got back home that night, about a 2.5 hour drive. It was after dark. Started to unload the car. Had it kind of ready to come off the trailer. Door was open and the parking brake failed and the car decided to unload itself. Like I said, the door was open. It ended up snagging on the trailer tire and ended up cracking the outer skin off the door. You can see it here. So there's the outside skin's cracked. After I got to looking on the inside, there's no damage on the inner skin. So I'm guessing that the door frame's kind of made with the inner section's all made out of one mold, and then the outer skin just goes on the outside, and you can kind of see two layers on the bottom. And that's what I'm thinking just broke, cracked off the outside. So you can kind of see that again a little bit better. But I think I'm going to try to tackle this myself. I've never done body work ever, but I figure it's going to be a wheel-to-wheel car. It's going to get damaged. This is definitely going to happen in the future. So I've been doing some research on it, on as far as products, what to use, this and that. So I'm going to give this a shot, see if I get all the electrical connectors taken out first, and then we'll see if we can get the door off and start going to work on that. Like I say, I'm not a body guy, don't pretend to be, just going to kind of learn as I go, do the best I can, see how it comes out. Well, after trying to remove every single electrical plug from this door, and then finally realizing that this plug will not go through that hole, even with the grommet removed, even with the plug separated, it won't go through there. I finally figured there had to be another way, and sure enough, inside the door grommet right there, I don't know if you can see, there's two plugs I think will let me unplug the whole door without have to undo all of this mess. So I think that half hour was wasted, but I'm putting everything back now. I'm going to unplug these two clips here, and hopefully that will let me disconnect all the electrical from the door, and then go ahead and unbolt it. Alright, update. It's actually 3 plugs. There was this one extra guy hidden in there that I didn't see before. Just a small single wire plug, whatever that goes to. But anyway, 3 plugs, not 2. Alright, door wiring's all back in place. Basically back where I started what feels like an hour ago. Got the window down inside the door. Everything's unplugged. 3 plugs are undone, so time to finally start unbolting. Alright, I got this thing up on the table. Finally take a look at it up close instead of being upside down. You can see the 2 layers I was talking about. I think it's basically the whole inner structure is made as one mold, one unit, and then this outer skin I think is just glued onto that for the paint surface. But you can kind of see the brake a little bit more here. My idea is basically to make two relief cuts right where these brakes are, so everything can push back down flat, and then be able to fill all that with the with the filler. I'm hoping not to cut on this basically hinge line where this is loose. I'm hoping to be able to keep that intact, but if I can't get all this to push back down, then I may go ahead and cut that top piece completely loose and then glue it in after that. So we'll see. I think that's the next game plan, to get those relief cuts made and see how loose and see how flat I can get everything pushed back. Trying to get all this cleaned out so I can use the adhesive and the filler to back all of this. Got quite a bit of the chop scraped out from under here. I don't know if any of this is going to be in focus or not. This little one has definitely got the most resistance as far as not wanting to lay down flat, which is the reason for this extra relief cut here. It was kind of a crack there. I thought maybe it was binding and not letting it go back down, but there's something still under here that I need to try to get cleaned out. See if that's what's this. I think we'll all lay down. I think the game plan is just to once I get the adhesive under it, is to just lay a big 2x4 across all of this to try to get it all on the same plane, and then once the adhesive sets, hopefully again it's strong enough to hold this pressure down, which is quite a bit. There's quite a bit of preload still on it, but I don't know, I'm going to try to keep digging under that thing, see if I can get a little bit more. This is all feeling pretty good. It doesn't have much pressure on it at all anymore, and like I say, getting pretty clean underneath. There's not a lot of chop left, so keep going, see if I can get it all to lay flat and not have so much preload on it. Alright, a little more digging. Got this smaller one feeling a little better. Pretty much got all the chop from under there that I could really get. It's looking pretty clean in there. Even the smaller side is getting pretty clean there. So I think that's about all the cutting and digging I'm going to do. Still a little pressure on this one. Hopefully that panel bond is strong enough to hold that permanently, especially with all the vibrations and curb hopping and all of that. Hopefully that'll hold up. This one feels pretty good. There's hardly any pressure. I'm definitely not going to need to cut up here at the top. So as long as this one holds, I think I'll be good. May do a little bit more digging on it once my panel bond comes in. See if I can clean that out a little better, and go from there. But I think I'm gonna stop here for this. Just wait for my panel bond to come in, and then on to the next step. All right, I'm about to try to bond these panels together. I picked up this. It's by Evercoat. It's called Vet Panel Adhesive. It's a filler and adhesive, supposedly all in one, designed for the modern SMC fiberglass on the 80 something and up vets that they're using. But they tell you about a 4-inch circle and about a ribbon across of this blue hardener is what they're recommending. So I'm probably going to go a little bit light on the hardener, give me a little more work time. They talk about you only get 8 or 10 minutes, which probably is more than enough, but I'd rather wait on a setup time than it go hard on me and not be able to get it squished down in time before it starts hardening. So gonna get this mixed up and go from there. I got this thing all clamped up here. Just use a block of wood to try to get the skin that's lifted all on the same plane as what the door is around it. Was the game plan anyway. Didn't get quite as much in there as I had hoped. The work time was definitely pretty short. It's only been a few minutes, and this stuff is already hardened, so I can definitely go with less hardener when I actually go to do the outer filler and stuff to get more work time. I'll probably end up just going with a little pea or dime shaped sized dot of hardener to try to get some more work time. But it's all clamped up. We'll see how she holds, and then start scuffing the outside for filler, and go from there. And if you look close there, it looks like it didn't push down very well. It's not on plane with the rest of the door very well. So either the filler was already too hard to squish, or it was just too much pressure for the blocks and the clamps to try to move down on. You can't really see it from this side as much. I think the only chance now is just going to have to block all this down until it's on plane with the hood, which is good. It'll remove all the paint and all that. It probably loose anyway. It's going to take quite a bit of sanding down. I just hope I don't get into that angel hair fiberglass stuff. That wouldn't be too good for trying to fill. So it looks like we're going to have to do some block sand and try to get this all down level flush, and then we'll be able to start our filler after that. So it's going to be a little more work than I'd hoped, but kind of was worried about this up front anyway. So get to block sand and see how we do. All right, about to get ready on sanding this thing down, trying to get it all down on one plane. I bought this little sanding block off of Amazon called the Preppin' Weapon, which is pretty cool. Anyway, nothing crazy. ABS body. Got these little cam locks here on the ends. See if I can kind of do that. Little cam locks, and you can see the little deal slide in and out the lock. Just some high density foam on the bottom there. The cool thing about it is it's actually hollow bodied, so when I get to wet sanding, you can throw it in a bucket of water and it'll actually float, let all the contaminants get off the paper, and then you can grab it back up with some clean fresh water and whatnot, and go to sanding. So we'll give it a shot. I got what I hope is the last skim coat of filler on. I'm just going to try to get all that sanded back down smooth, and then start working on all the scratches from the 100 grit. So hopefully this is the last coat of filler. Alright, that went pretty quick. I guess when you use the appropriate amount of filler, it doesn't take an hour and a half. Just a couple of minutes on that little skim coat, and this thing's all feeling pretty flat. I think I may try going straight from this 100 grit and going straight to the high build primer and see if I can just use the high build primer to hide all the 100 grit scratch marks, as opposed to going finer and finer and then just using a traditional primer. So we'll see how that goes. If it's not enough, obviously I'll just sand all the primer off and start working down the scratch sizes with the different grit of sandpaper. But I think this is getting to be pretty smooth and pretty close to the final profile. So like I say, I think I'm going to clean all this up and put some high build on it, and that'll show highs and lows as well, and kind of let me know if I got more work or if I can move forward. Got this thing all masked off here. Going to try some high build primer. I might have scuffed some of this clear coat that's unaffected. Hopefully the primer can etch into it enough to get a good bond. Otherwise I may need to actually almost sand back down to the clear to make sure I've got good tooth on the surface. But I've got it all masked off here. Just some grocery sacks all around it here, some blue tape. Just going to kind of hit this area with that high build primer and go from there. All right, I got some of this Rust-Oleum high build primer. Just picked it up at Home Depot. I think it was under $5, something like that. Wasn't much, but I used some of this stuff about 10 years ago. It was a different brand. It was kind of a yellowish color from what I remember back then. But anyway, hopefully it works as good and can fill in some of those 100 grit scratches instead of having to work all those down. But Rust-Oleum filler primer, it's called, Home Depot. primer is all dry. Looks like it did a pretty good job of covering up all those 100 grit scratches. The extra layers I did actually definitely helped. I even did, you can kind of see these light gray splotches. I actually went back again off camera and did another hit where you could still see the scratches underneath the primer, and I laid it on super thick, and that seemed to fill it all in. So we'll get these masks off here and go from there. Alright, got all the mask off of there. I doubt it'll show up on camera, but there's definitely some high build there. Pretty thick along the edges, so I'll need to feather that pretty good. I'll probably actually start with that, get the edges all feathered in, and then start flattening off all the center section, get it smoothed out. Looks like some dust from spraying too far away, but yeah, there's definitely, I doubt it'll show up, but definitely an edge there. I need to get all that smoothed out. Alright, I got my block loaded up with some 600 here. I hope I'm not going to regret that being too fine to feather these edges. I just don't want to have to go through trying to get rid of scratches again. So we'll see. If it takes too long, I may go ahead and switch down to 400 or something, and to get the edges feathered, and then smooth it all back out with the 600 and start fine. I got my bucket of water here, do some wet sanding. So like I say, I'll probably start on the edges first, get all those feathered in, and then start blocking the main area. Alright, the 600 was too fine. It was going to take forever to feather those edges, so loaded up some 400 instead, and go from there. So hopefully make a little quicker work out of it. I've got all the edges feathered out. This looks like a hard edge, but it's just because it's on the crown of the door right there. There's absolutely no ridge there at all. I had a little bit of a low spot right in here somewhere. After I blocked it, you could feel the texture of the primer over spray. Obviously a low spot the block couldn't get to, so I just had to hand sand that to get in that dip to get it at least smooth, but it'll be good enough for the bottom of the door. I did sand through the paint in a couple of spots. Probably won't be able to see it. I did one here. There's another at the other end right here, but luckily they're close enough to my patch. I'm hoping my blend should be able to cover those no problem, but just went a little bit too far. I've got some 600 now. I'm going to just kind of do the final sand, just get rid of the 400 scratches, and then probably be ready for paint. Alright guys, it's been about a month, I guess. Winter has officially moved in. I had to wait about 2 weeks before I could do my test spray with the Amazon paint before it was warm enough and wasn't raining, so I could do some paint tests. So I lost about 2 weeks there, which is what this is over here. So if you'll look, let me go back to the car here. This is my little test spray. I don't know how well this is going to show up, but this is the Amazon color that was supposed to match. It was a, let me get the paint code here. It was supposed to be this WA636R, which was also labeled as 17U as the paint color. Was supposed to be the 2009 Switchblade Silver Metallic used on Corvettes and other GMs, but as you can see here, it's definitely too dark and has quite a bit more pewter in it. I would call it more closer to the ISS out there. So it's definitely too dark. So it wasn't going to work. So what I did was I remembered I had an old bottle of touch-up paint that I had bought from another company, this automotivetouchup.com, when I had scraped the Vet's mirror against the garage track when I was backing out one time. I scraped the paint off the mirror and bought this little touch-up paint. I remembered that, so I went in the house, finally found it, grabbed it. It was just labeled 17, not 17U. So a little bit different paint code. So I went on the bottom of the mirror and did a couple of test runs. This first one I kind of blotted on the left here. I kind of blotted it on. It didn't work too well. But then I just did a straight drag over here on this, the one closer to the joint. And other than the metallics laying a little different from being, you know, just stroked on as opposed to sprayed on, the color looks very close. So I went back to the same company, and sure enough, they did offer full cans of ready to spray base. And sure enough, they actually had the option under 2009 Switchblade Silver Metallic for GM. They actually listed a 17 and a 17U. My original touch-up paint was, lost my camera there. It was labeled as just 17, so that's what I ordered. So I'm going to try this today. It finally came in after about another 2 weeks. It finally came in, so I'm going to try to do a test spray on it today and hope it matches the original touch-up. This is actually the touch-up for the Camaro. This is not it. This is 11, which is the medium pewter metallic off the Camaro, but same principle. So anyway, I'm going to try to test spray this stuff today, see if it is as close of a match as the original brush-on little touch-up bottle appeared to be, and see how that goes. So I'll get that test spray done today and let it dry and see how it matches. Well, I got the propane heater going to heat up the garage so I can paint. Figured, why waste that heat? Throw a little lunch on the grill. That's what we're doing. Alright guys, it's D-Day. I've got the Door all prepped, ready to go. Paint gun loaded. I got my pressure set, water trap, paint in the gun here. I gotta say I'm more nervous about this than when I cut the hole in my hood for the vent for some reason, but just gonna kind of give it a go, see how we do here. Alright guys, here it is right out of the booth, so to speak, after I cleared it. Everything went pretty good for never doing it in my life. Happy with the results. Came out pretty decent. The color, super happy with. There's one spot, and you actually can't even find it, but when the light gets just right, on my very last pass of color, I got the fan too close to the door and it deposited a bunch of metallics all in one spot, but only if you get the camera just right, and I can't even make it do it. There they kind of showing up right there, but it's at the bottom of the door, and you got to be just perfect to ever see it. So it came out good, but the clear went real good. I didn't strain the clear like I did the paint, and it showed. I got a little bit of trash in the clear, very minor, but especially for a garage paint. But I'm going to sand all those out, and it should be a perfect finish. But overall, it came out really, really well. In my final coat of clear, I actually ran out of clear, even though I made another half batch. And about this section right here, I didn't get it on as thick as I wanted, and it's probably not going to show up in the sun. I mean, in the bright sun, but there's actually just a little bit of orange peel on this quarter here where I didn't get the clear on as thick as I wanted. But overall, it went really well. So I'm happy. You can see, let's see right here, you can see a little bit of that trash in the door. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but I'm going to sand all that out, and it should be good as new. So pretty happy with it overall. Like I say, I'll get the trash wet, sand it out. We'll try to maybe work on this this slight orange peel in that corner, but it is going to be a race car, so it's just going to get beat up again. But I'm going to try to make it as nice as I can before I put it back on. All right, I've got all the trash spots sanded out. I don't know if you can kind of see those in the reflection. Probably not. You can kind of see the little sand spots everywhere where there's trash, and I tried to kind of sand it out. To be honest, probably not worth the effort. It couldn't really get out the piece of trash. It just kind of sanded the areas around it for the most part. So I don't know if it was really worth it, but it didn't take too long, so it was worth a shot. So sanded what I could. I think I am going to go ahead and try to sand some of that top side, see if I can get a little bit of the orange peel out of it, but I think that'll be pretty much it for prep before I buff it. Alright guys, I've done a bunch of more wet sanding and buffing since I last filmed. I got a little tired of filming, to be honest. This project's drug on way too long, but I thought I was all done, but as I was putting it away for the last time, I got a little different angle on the sheen of the door. I could tell there was definitely still some scratch marks that I need to buff out. I made the mistake of, I had accidentally grabbed a sheet of 600 sandpaper on this thing after I'd finished clear coating everything, and made a ton of extra work for myself. So I've been basically going finer and finer and finer till trying to get all those out. And thought I had them all, but like I say, after I put it away the last time, the kind of this whole section here that I had the orange peel where I ran out of clear coat, been trying to get out that where like I say, I think I accidentally hit it with 600, didn't realize it. So note to my future self watching this, don't ever touch your finished door with anything coarser than 2500. My polish seems to be able to get the 2500 out okay. So I'm going to try to hit this thing one last time, see if I can wet sand kind of this section here that's kind of inside the blue tape. Hit it one last time and get the cutout on it, and see if I can get it finally to a finished polish. So like I say, there's been a bunch of this going on that I haven't filmed. I just kind of got sick of it. So I'm hoping today's the last day, so we'll see how it goes. Alright guys, I think that's it. I hit a couple of the kind of ghosted dull spots with that 2500 one more time, and then with the cut compound, and that seemed to do it. I think I'm finally there, finally done, good enough for a race car. I don't know if it'll show up in the camera, but it's a pretty good finish for first time in a garage. Never painted before, and like I say, it's just gonna get banged up. I'm pretty positive I'll have the only car on the grid that's been wet scented 2500 and cut and buff. So if you can't be fast, you gotta at least look good going slow. So this is kind of final finish. I think I'm finally happy with it. It's gonna be good enough. So anxious to get this project behind me. It's been way too long, between only being able to work on weekends and weather slowing things down. So I think I'm going to call it quits there, and get the mirror back on, and then I can get the whole door put back on. So gonna call it quits there. Been a long process, but learned a bunch, so I'll be ready for it next time. One more thing, I almost forgot. The stuff I was using is this, get the light behind it, here we go, is this Meguiar's Ultra Cut. It's basically their most aggressive compound that they make. Their regular polish that I had was obviously a joke for the 2500 scratches. It was obviously designed for, SEMA cars that are already final finished and all that. But this stuff did a really good job, and I don't know how you would want it any more mirrored than this if you had an actual good flat finish. So this is what I use, the Meguiar's Ultra Cut, and like I say, it's their highest on the scale. They make some medium cut, some fine cut, and then it starts dropping in all your actual polishes, which are finer than that. So, but this is what I finally ended up using. It was by far the best. So, if you're needing to do the same thing, this is definitely the way to go.
No,